what I would like to do is I have the pump going up to a T, and that T obviously loses a lot of flow. I can get a lot more flow out of that, even at a lower power setting, if I used it a little smarter than I am right now. So what I'd like to do is, instead of having these T's that I'm going to lose all the pressure, I think I'm going to do like one line directly back to the fish tank. So yes, it will be something like a meter and a half of head on it. And that shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's got that now. And that's with all the different bends. And at 70% or so power, I am getting, you know, a decent flow through it. But I think I can optimize that a lot more if I have it go directly back to the fish tank. So that's coming up next. Again, the radial flow filter is working quite nicely. And I mean, there's no fish in the system, but there's always sediments going in the bottoms that's sort of circulating with this. And I can see this, you know, it is settling in a circular fashion, so it seems to be working well. I do wish, if I have to be honest, I do wish I had a bulkhead fitting for this one. Not because I don't get enough flow out of it, that part works just fine. However, having the pipe down here actually breaks a lot of that circular motion, despite this being of, you know, there's quite a bit of flow, and you can see it here. But I would have liked a little bit more, and I think this actually breaks a little bit of that. So, welcome back to the channel. So, I've been going on about having the overflow do my work for me rather than getting a bulkhead fitting. Not because I think one is better than the other, which actually I do. I think the bulkhead's better, but I wasn't able to source it, and the ones that came from China was a different size than expected. And yeah, it's the old story when you order stuff from China. So instead, I did manage to find a 40mm fitting, but for reasons unknown, my hardware store doesn't actually have the other end of this. Don't ask. I asked them, they didn't know either. However, I did manage to find a different kind of fitting. This is meant to be screwed onto a ball, and this will have a gasket that goes inside, and it actually fits the 40mm pipe. This pressures around the pipe, so that should be tight enough. And it just so happens, this does happen to have a inner thread. And I was testing it out through the bags at the hardware store, and it does look like that the flat gasket that comes, that's meant to be screwed onto the wall. So, but it does look like this threading actually seems to fit. See how it goes. After all, there's not a lot of pressure on the radial flow filter, so I think this will do just fine. That's my hope. Fingers crossed. Let's give it a go, and yeah, come along, see how it goes. So after I was cleaning out the root systems on one of the grow boxes, the water did turn quite murky, but that's alright. Hopefully all would have collected down here at some point. So for now, taking out my overflow, and I'm just gonna join one of these crazy drill bits here, just big enough that the 40mm screw fitting will be able to go through here, and see how it goes. And actually, now that I've taken out quite a bit of the water here, hopefully we're all able to see that a lot of the sediments that I was talking about from the clean out before has actually gathered down at the bottom of the flow filter, as it should. So the rest of the clarity is going to come in time, so that should be fine. Neat little hole drilled there. If it doesn't fit, I'll be screwed, as that will completely ruin the bucket. But hopefully it'll be alright. Just removed most of the burrs here, so you can get a clean seal with the gasket. And obviously I'm just gonna fish out all the rubble from the actual drill, so you can clean that out so it doesn't end up in the pump. We're seemingly okay. I would probably have wanted a rubber gasket on the outside as well, to be absolutely honest, but I only had the inside one that came with it. Might need to go back for another one if needed, but so far it looks about alright. I just need to extend this all the way out here so it connects to the return pipe. But other than that, yeah, I think it's alright. All that's left to do is see how it goes once this fills up. And if I have any leaks. You can see it's about to kick off here. So far there doesn't seem to be any leaks. That should be alright. No issues. And let's have a look. And yeah, no, I mean, we are getting quite a bit of swirl here, so that should be alright. Again, we don't want this, it's not going to be like a cyclone or anything. We don't want this to be a super crazy swirl either. This looks to be alright, I think. Yeah, it's enough that, you know, the solids are not being centrifuged around. There's just enough circulation that it's going to gather at the center below as they fall down, and the clearer water is going to flow in at the top. So it should be alright. Flowing in. So far no leaks. So far so good. This of course goes back through the return pipe, back into my secondary sump tank that's siphoned together with the actual sump tank. Yeah, so during plumbing in the winter time is maybe not the most desirable time of year to do it. It is so cold out here now. It's maybe, I don't know, 6-7 degrees, but it's sunny, nice enough, but the wind is so chilling here, and obviously the water is the same temperature, so getting your hands in the water all the time is just, it's brutal. Bit of hot tea will do the trick. Stay tuned. Back plane is going up. Proper pressure is going in from the pump to my fish tank, and then I will get everything circulating. So at the end of this entire back plane, where my pump is pumping it all the way over to my fish tank, I have a T section. The T section is going to feed the 20mm pipe from the 25 one back down to the back plane that fills all the grow beds. Now the 25 will continue up into the fish tank. However, the probably one place that I'm not going to glue it. Now all the other components are glued, but this will just be a tight fit in there. And then I've got a normal small stainless steel screw that I'm going to fix it with. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because it's one long section, so I have a brush on a spiral. It means that if I need to, I can take the outlet of the fish tank off, and then I can run that through the entire length of the whole back plane from the pump and clean that out that way. If any gunk collects, anything like that, I can help sort of flush that out of the system. So that's why I'm not gluing the final end of the tank like this. It goes together so tight that it shouldn't be an issue at all. It should be no leaks, I think. So there you have it. Right, now to get a better idea of how much of a difference this is going to make. Currently, this is what was fitted to the pump. So I don't know if you can see, but this is maybe, I don't know, 18 millimeters diameter opening. When I changed to the new back plane, we're going to go to something like 25. So it's going to be a big difference in terms of throughput. So it should be interesting. Just going to fiddle around in the cold water with my hands. It's freezing here, but in a few minutes now we should be all ready to go. So we'll fire it up and see what happens. Okay, so everything is now hooked up. Pump's in there, sucking up good. We are at about 70% capacity, I think. Now the back plane does not have any hard T's anymore. Slow curve up. Back plane goes over all the way back. Sorry about the wind here, guys. All the way back to the fish tank, and oh, it is about to overflow actually. That's a bit weird actually. All right, now it's really going. Okay, this is maybe a bit much. As you can see, it's almost overflowing. Whoa. Okay, so it's almost overflowing the radial filter. I certainly got the power that I wanted. Perhaps even a little bit too much here, because it is really coming out fast now. I'm gonna need to figure out some way to slow this down a little bit. Also, it looks like it's actually siphoning out now. That's obviously not the intent. That's also why it's going so fast. Right, it's because this pipe is below water surface, so if we'd done this, there we go. Right, it's because it's sucking in, it can't suck in enough air at the top here, which is why it's siphoning it out. So I should probably either take this end cap off, see if that should help a bit. There we go. This should help in as much as it will overflow as it's supposed to, just a little more noisy. That's why I usually put the cap on. However, if it sucks in air here, that means that we don't create a siphon here, so it won't actually suck out all the water in here. So that's the important part. There we go. Now things sort of slowed down. Yes, as you can see here, I'm going to try and focus in a bit on this. Yeah, so things slowing down particularly. That's because it's just filling up now, so it's just going to be a few seconds here before it comes back on. We are back down to 65% capacity now of the pump. It seems to be a very good flow. You can see the radial flow filter. It's got quite a bit of movement in it. It's a bit more than I want. I'll probably end up putting a 100mm PVC end cap over this, sort of suspend it. That way, any particulates on the surface won't flow in on it. It has to come up from below. Maybe even a bit of a small bucket down over. Actually, that's probably best. Now, what you're seeing here is not fish poop, because there's no fish in the system. This is old root systems that, unfortunately, is now suspended in the water. And that's why it's flowing up and not falling to the bottom. That combined with the, bit too much flow at this point. But yeah, that's just not the end of the world. I think I'll probably end up just sort of directing this flow a little bit, maybe. That way it will slow down the spin, and hopefully it will have the particulates slow down a bit as well. Oh man, it's freezing out here now. The wind is super chill. So what I'm going to do is I've got my return pipe here, and I've got these sort of plastic bands, small, the local dollar shop. It's like it's a net basically for your waste from the kitchen waste. So instead of going in the liner like you would have in the US, here you gather up all your organic matter and you throw it out in a separate bin. So you get these sort of, it's like 30 of these for $1. So, but they're really good for fish, aquarium use, that sort of thing. So I use these if I want some hide lots of particulates I want to catch. We've got a layer of these, which is very fine. I don't know if you can see. It's almost like a net, like a stocking. So this is big enough that it'll go over my 65mm pipe, and then with a big fat rubber band around it, that should be enough that we can sort of keep track of it. The particulates that I'm going to pump out here. So I'm going to put this over for a couple hours and let's see how it goes. Alright, let me get you guys in closer. Let's show you what I mean. So, see this from the top. Alright, so as you can see, this just sits there at the end, collects all the nasty stuff, and 2 layers of this should be enough to take out all the roots that we saw that were floating around in the system. Yeah, it should be good. I'll give you a final shot of how the water looks tomorrow, as well as how much gunk this is sort of collected, so you get an idea of how much it helped or not. Yeah. It's now the next morning, 8 a.m. It's super nice weather, and I'm happy to announce that the weather is super clear now. There's no suspended solids in the water anymore. Yeah, looks nice and clean. Flow is good, no issues observed. Yeah, it looks like the sock that I put on yesterday really did the trick. So let's go and have a look and see how much is actually collected. And let's pull off the sock and see what we got. There we go. And there we have it. Wow. It doesn't look like much, but it was enough to make all of the water look like full of stuff yesterday. But yeah, easy trick. Everything looks nice and clean. Perfect. Alright. Well, with that, Happy New Year everyone. It's now the December 31st. So hope you all have a great New Year. And I'll see you all in the growth season of 2019 soon enough. Until then, cheers.